Hello dear educators, welcome to Discuss Education, powered by Linways Technologies. Discuss Education is an initiative that unite the educators from different parts of the nation. We conduct events, webinars and interviews with eminent personalities in education with a small aim, which is we need to motivate and inspire the educators. Today, in Discuss Education, we are going to meet the renowned academician, Dr. Chandrasekaran Menon, a professor cum trainer with 40 plus years of experience in Indian and international universities. We hope educators can learn a lot and find the inspiration from him. Sir, we are extremely happy to have you, sir.
Thank you.
My sincere gratitude on behalf of Team Linways, and welcome to Discuss Education.
Thank you. I really appreciate your interest envisaged in this. Look forward.
Let's start the session.
Sir, you are a visiting faculty in many institutions in national and international. So what do you think, sir, IIT and IIM, it stands out from other institutions?
Good question, right? Though in India there are a lot of institutions contemplating to become IIM or IIT like, these institutions stand apart from all other institutions. There are reasons. To me, it appears 5 important reasons. Number 1 reason is definitely the faculty profile. These institutions, they don't compromise on the quality of the faculty. Quality of the faculty means it is not only academic, they are largely industry oriented people. So they bring to the class not only the academic but also the industry's experience and exposure to the classroom. This is point number 1. Point number 2, the method of teaching distinctly differ from these institutions to other institutions. We call it as pedagogy, right? The pedagogy they use will make the students think. It is not simply coming from the head of a professor to the head of the student. It makes a lot of deliberations, thinking process, dynamically, actively involved in the classroom. That's the reason you will find most of the classrooms in IIM and IIT, they are not called classrooms. They are called learning centers. So learning is more important than teaching. This is number 2. Number 3, these institutions follow a set pattern of rules, regulations and process. You call it SOP. Whether it is evaluating a student, evaluating a professor, evaluating a course or doing an examination process, everything there is a protocol. It is not simply following what people have been following for the last 20 years and 30 years. In education, this is evolving over a period of time. The accrediting agencies look forward to have that kind of an implementation in these institutions. This is point number 3. Point number 4, you will find the use of technology in these institutions are very, very high. Gone are the days they use the chalk piece blackboard type of teaching, right? Highly it is technology oriented. The assignments, the coursework, the examination, the evaluation, everything is technology oriented and the people are thrilled to use that technology. The 5th, not the last one, is that the interest of the students also, right? 99% of the students coming in IIM and IIT are self-motivated students. This is a big change you find from premier institutions to other institutions. If you ask all the professors, they will always complain, I am getting a bunch of students who is not interested in studies. So to motivate them and bring them to a higher level is a big challenge. This challenge is very less compared to other institutions. These are the few things that makes this institution fantastic, sir.
Sir, from your vast exposure in several universities in national and international, so what do you think the management can do? They can utilize the maximum productivity of the institution. So how they can do?
It's a good question. Largely, most of the institutions are teaching institutions. they think their job is over once they deliver the curriculum. Today in 21st century, the largest responsibility of the institution is not delivering the curriculum, but keep the students placed. Finally, if somebody asks a question, who is the customer to the institution? 99% of the institution will say students. But I beg to differ. Students are only the raw material that is given to the institution. Institution process it in 3 years and 4 years in engineering, 2 years in MBA, and hand over them to the industry. Industry is a customer. Institution is a process maker or a producer, and the students are raw material. This concept is known only to top class institution, and thereby they set a process that will make the raw material a saleable product. This is the big difference between conventional institutions and standalone and top class institutions. Am I answering your questions?
Exactly, sir, exactly. How can the institution can face the future challenges and unexpected events?
Yes, this is a very, very relevant question, especially after pandemic. The entire world has changed. The business landscape has changed. What is required by the industry has changed. What is offered by the college is the same. So there is a wide gap between what is required by the industry and what is offered by the collegiate education. So this is the time the institution should realize practically what is required by the industry, because we are producing the commodities saleable to the industry. Now, to understand this, the institution should take a deep dive into what is happening in the industry. That's the reason when I told the first answer, we need industry trained faculties. Otherwise, who will give this feedback to the management? Management will continuously teach only the same syllabus endlessly for so many years. And endlessly you produce products that are not saleable in the marketplace. So this is one good thing we have to do. To do that, the faculties should understand what is happening in the industry. The institution understanding the industry means the faculty is understanding the industry. In fact, I was recommending to one university, don't take anybody who does not have industry's experience, because they can teach only from the textbook, and that is not enough. And even if you score first class, you will not be saleable in the marketplace, because that is not the employer wants. So the institution should think, conceive, construct, develop, and make a plan what is required by the industry. Forget about all curriculums, right? Yeah. This is what my view, sir.
Sir, actually, how can we develop a diversified education system?
Yes, actually the need of the hour in 21st century is that most of the Western universities, if you see the profile of the students, they are highly diversified. Diversified in terms of age, diversified in terms of experience, diversified in terms of domain. But unfortunately in India, most of the students in a classroom is homogeneous. So students are to be diversified. For example, if your institution is in Tamil Nadu, you should have students from Kerala, Andhra, Karnataka. Like this is one student diversification. Diversification in the student's profile, because learning from each other will be a profound one if the students are diversified. Second, diversification in the faculty. Most of the institutions you will find the clustered faculty from a locality. So that has to go. You need people from all walks of life. Two. Three, this diversification will come in teaching and learning process also. For example, most of the methods of teaching, most of the data in an institution can be captured now through the latest developed systems by various people offering it. For example, the admission can be condensed in a software, right? And the payment system, the attendance system, mark system, and how do you evaluate the students, everything can be precipitated in a simple tabloid form, and many institutions, they spend sleepless nights in writing all these things and wasting their time and energy. Not only that, this will facilitate all the stakeholders of the institution, teachers, students, parents, community, employer, everybody. So this is very important point I would like to stress. I have seen wonderful institutions across the globe. They have a unique tailor-made system that will make the job of everybody easy. Suppose you are going for an accreditation like NAAC or NBA or international accreditation. You get lot of documents and lot of data from this integrated system itself. You need not prepare exclusively a different ledger or a different posting for any accreditation process. You just click the button and get it. This is called, I call it as a diversified educational system. See, unfortunately, many of the institutions here, they consider this as a expense.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to reiterate the statement, this is not an expense, this is an investment, a wise investment. Over a period of time, the investment will pay by itself.
Exactly.
And it is very comfortable, easy to operate. And there are institutions using it, and they are fantastic. And their ability to deal with the data and ability to take a decision based on the data is profound.
Yeah.
And that's why they make an excellent decision based on the data.
Sir, actually, how can we navigate the students through the opportunity during the period of their studies and after studies?
Good. When a student is getting into a course, it is highly likely the student is not aware of the opportunities currently available in that course. One. So it is the prime duty of the institution to make the student understand these are all the current opportunities available in the market. Opportunities in the sense, opportunities in sunrise institutions. There are very many industries available, but today in 21st century, students would like to pitch their career in sunrise industries. That means industries that are growing phenomenally. Now, many of the institutions are not aware of it. Again, they go by cement industry, textile industry, pharmaceutical industry, like that. But there are empty number of new industries have born, and that industries are really called sunrise industries, right? And the skill sets required for those industries are totally different from the skill sets required by conventional industries. For a textile mill or a cement factory, the skill sets are different. I am talking about IT, ITES, FMCG, retail. The skill sets are totally different. Now, it is the prime duty of the student to understand what all the new skill sets that is coming up. It is the important duty of the institution to understand what all such new skill sets they should offer in the curriculum or the syllabus. When this is matching, you will be taking the students to the next generation of profound business opportunities available in the market. To cite two examples. Number one, business analytics. It's an emerging domain, and very interestingly, this is a domain which is not any area specific. To understand, to study business analytics, you need not be an engineer, you need not be a scientist, anybody can learn that. No specific domain knowledge is required. Okay, one, artificial intelligence. People think it is an engineering course. No, anybody can do that course, right? So, these emerging domains should be a part, and that must be inculcated from day one the student is joining this institution. Maybe within 2 years time or 3 years time he graduates, that opportunity may go very high, or it may skyrocket, or another opportunity may come. So therefore, there is a need for the institution to keep on making the student abreast about what all the emerging opportunities available in the market. This will make the student enabled to equip himself to such opportunities. This is what my feel, sir.
Do you have any advice to the students?
Yes, indeed. Number one, most of the courses today are not academic courses. They are professional courses. whether it is engineering or science or management, everything is coming under professional courses. To become a professional, 3 things are required minimum. Number 1, the domain knowledge. You cannot be a good engineer without knowing engineering. You cannot be a good doctor without knowing anatomy, physiology and medicine. So institutions will create only this domain knowledge at the moment. That's it. But you cannot become a professional just because of domain knowledge. Now to become a professional, what is required next? You have to update that knowledge. That is called continuous education. For example, in America, if you are a doctor, if you don't update yourself, after 5 years, you lose your license. You have to write an exam perpetually, continuously, upgrading your knowledge, so you become a professional doctor. So second is updating. This updating can be done in an institution by multiple ways. Number 1, participating in seminar, participating in workshop, participating in conferences, participating in competition. More percentage of learning happens to a graduate outside the classroom than inside the classroom. So, but all these institutions, they stuff him inside the classroom and stuff him with the syllabus. But outside the classroom is fantastic learning. So that makes him really industry ready than the syllabus or the stuff that is taught inside the classroom.
You already gave advice to students. So what do you have any advice to teachers or faculty?
Yes, I have more advice to the teachers than students, because once teacher can make or crack 60 or 100 students, one classroom. In that way, the teachers have to understand now what are the opportunities available, what are the latest tools and techniques, where is the technology going, and how they equip themselves to the new technology. Unless the teacher is accustomed with the latest tools and technologies, it is evident that it cannot be passed on to the students. So therefore, this training has to be first given to the teachers. For example, in IIM, you have MDP, FDP, Management Development Program, Faculty Development Program, Skill Development Program. Every program, if you are a chairman of an institution, send your faculties at least 25% of their working time to various other institutions and pick up the best practices that is available in other institutions. Come back and implement, instead of 100, at least 10 practices, and that will make the institution grow very faster and stronger and grand.
Exactly, yeah, true. Actually, that's all, sir.
Thank you.
Today's session.
Thank you.
Actually, we are very sincere. Our sincere gratitude.
Appreciate. Our endeavors are same.
Yeah.
The purpose for which you started this Discuss Education, the purpose for which I am here is same.
Yeah.
So there is no big magnanimity required for this. I am only helping, I am only contributing to your endeavor, and your endeavor is my endeavor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We wish all the success in your future.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate. I also endorse the interest and enthusiasm created by your company, and I wish you good luck in all your endeavors. And should you require any time, any service from me, unconditionally, I would like to offer my services, because your endeavor and my endeavor is same, and there is only one endeavor: making the student community better. Thank you very much. I appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. We will be back with more educators across India on Discuss Education. Thank you.